Hey there, fellow equine enjoyers. This is your faithful editor, Dapperjack here. Before we get into the episode here, I wanted to give you guys a quick disclaimer. Sadly, this being our first episode back and us starting with a new recording software for our show, trouble ensued, which is bound to happen with something like this, and there's a bit of audio inconsistency in this episode. A couple of people's tracks didn't record, and such. So the first half here is going to be a little bit uneven. At the about 40-minute mark, it's going to kind of even out, but more on the low quality side, sadly. So I did what I could to even things out and make it nice to listen to. It's a little choppy, but please bear with me. The next episodes coming up should be much smoother. Anyways, thanks for listening. Enjoy the show.
Reporting from deep inside the Everfree Forest, it's Everfree Northwest Presents, with our hosts, Light Silver,
Bone the Tim,
Dapperjack,
B Pendragon,
and today's show, first episode of Everfree Northwest Presents 2015. I know, we're so very imaginative with our titles.
Oh, yes.
Hey, everybody. We're back for our first show of the 2015 convention season. And, hi.
hello.
Oh,
welcome.
We hope you are doing well and had a good New Year of Eve.
Yeah, it's a crazy year
Yes.
so far. We are really working to try and get everything ready, things like that.
Yes.
I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off because I'm co-director of productions and we've got stuff we need to do. I know Tim over here. I know Tim over here is doing the same with PR. It's going to be a great year, I can tell you that much, though.
Yep, and I'm working hard to get those panel videos to you because rendering times.
Oh, you gotta love the rendering. So yeah.
It's taken an average of 10 hours of video, so they'll be done eventually.
But yeah, actually, speaking of just how amazing this year is going to be, Dapperjack, I believe that the first little bit of Everfree Northwest news is yours. So actually, let me go ahead. I'll quickly go over the format of the show. We're going to start off with some Everfree Northwest news. Then we're going to do some fandom news, followed by our main topic. And then we're just going to close out with some random cool things and our closing.
All right, and today our news starts with some new guests that are coming along this time around. This year we'll be having Tabitha St. Germain again, Nicole Oliver again, I believe. She came in 2013, right? 2012. Okay,
I know,
and then
got the signature right on the wall next to me.
and then the one everybody's very, very excited about. If you are watching the video or the stream, you'll have seen the little image for this. John Delancey, the voice of Discord, will be coming. As of now, that's the plan.
Well, in the end, anything can happen. I mean, our friends over at BabsCon also had Mr. Delancey, but then there was a scheduling conflict. So, you never know, but...
Yep, so these are the announcements as of now, but they are subject to change.
As is anything in the convention world.
But yeah, I must say, I'm so excited about all of these guests. But, I've never actually seen John Delancey in person. I was actually a huge fan of his in Star Trek with Q. So,
oh yeah, who wasn't?
Great
character.
My hall director at college, I was like, he's always been a huge Star Trek fan, especially Next Generation, because that's what he grew up with. And it's like, I just came down to his office one day, right after the initial announcement was made, and I was like, so guess who I get to meet? He's like, who? Well, Q. And he just about went through the roof on that one. I mean, he's out in Missouri, but still, even people outside the fandom are extremely happy that Delancey is making appearances, which is always cool.
Delancey's a pretty cool guy. At least from all I've seen.
Yeah, he's great. He's great at cons, especially because he's been doing them for so long because of the Star Trek thing, that he has such a great sense of just how to handle himself in a convention. What is it? Situation? Scenario? Scenario is the one I was thinking of. But it's yeah, just even at Q&As and things, he knows exactly what to say and how to present himself in a way that'll be good for the con.
Yeah, actually, the funny thing is, if you think about it, though, I mean, besides the obvious, Discord and Q being so similar, if you think about it, they actually have pretty similar arcs, because as Star Trek went on, especially in Voyager, Q became a lot more of a kind of a better person. Or, I guess, a better Q.
Oh yeah, in the beginning of Star Trek, he's in the first episode of Next Generation, and he's a villain, just straight up. He's nowhere near the wacky, fun guy that he becomes later on, and that's pretty much the same with Discord. I mean, he's still more wacky than Q was at the beginning, but he is a little more threatening and intimidating at the beginning.
Yeah, as I was seeing, especially on like Reddit or some other forums like that, when after season 2 premiered, we were spelling it Disqord because Discord, something like that. I don't know.
Discord. Yeah.
Discord. Or Discord.
Let's not hurt ourselves over that one.
So, that's about all we have for guests. So, Pendragon, I think you have the next piece.
I do. I do. Our next real announcement is that our vendor applications are closing. They have been open for about a month and a half now. They will be closing on Monday, January 12th. So make sure that you get in. Get your applications if you want to be a vendor in our vendors hall. There's always a lot of great art there. I have spent way more than I probably should on the art that the fandom artists bring in for the convention. It's a great way to get your name out there. Prices range from $85 for a half table and a badge, all the way up to $250 for two full tables, but that also includes 2 badges. So you can go enjoy the rest of the convention as well. And make sure you have an assistant you can have an assistant with you at the same time.
Here.
Which is always nice. I have seen that. For more information on this or any of the other news we're talking about, you can go to everfreenw.com, and then up at the very top there's a little link that says news. You click on it, it'll lead to a stream of our news. Top announcement right now is that we have something like a podcast happening right about now. I wonder what that's about.
Really?
What? Where could this be? Who is on it? Why?
Scroll down, we've got a voice actor call and all the other information about the various announcements that we've made. It's just kind of like a blogger stream. As further you scroll down, the older the announcements are, but they're still relevant. Which also brings me to the other announcement I had for the evening, which is that we are now accepting donations for our charity auction. Charity auction is a great thing. Last year, you will probably remember the quilt, which sold for $20,000 and which was almost or over half of our entire haul that year. Last year, last year we donated $41,000 or so to. I'm trying to find the full announcement. To the Seattle Children's Hospital, which is always awesome. It's always an awesome thing. Everybody, I'm fairly certain.
If I'm not mistaken, we've been doing it for the Children's Hospital every year, right?
Yeah.
Every year has been for the Seattle Children's Hospital. I know that I have never actually needed Seattle Children's Hospital myself, but I know people who have.
I personally actually did stay there a couple of times when I was younger due to health issues, and it is a great great hospital, but they definitely need all the help they can get. You can never have enough help when you're a hospital. It's a lot of overhead and not necessarily always a lot coming in.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I've done a little work, mostly nursing homes, but I just last month graduated. I got my CNA, so I may end up working in the hospital pretty soon.
Ooh, lucky you.
But yeah, so the cost of medical coverage is pretty expensive. So anything we can do to help, especially helping kids get the care that they need, it's definitely worthwhile. And over the last 3 years, I think we've raised over 75,000.
Yeah, at least.
We have raised over 75,000, 40,000 from last year. On the note of donations, if you wish to donate to charity, you can go to everfreenw.com/charity. They have the forms and information there. Deadline for donating to the convention before the convention itself is May 15th, which is 2 weeks before the convention. We'll also be accepting donations at the convention. I personally have actually donated to the charity auction and had something auctioned off. It went for $4. I was proud of it. It was a postcard. Yeah. It was a postcard advertising the charity auction that I signed because last year I got to do a print on an actual press, and I figured. Front page uses a printing press. What can I do to help the convention? So I made some of those postcards, and I had one of them off. It went $4, which made me happy.
Bag of bananas.
Yeah, for a postcard, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I won.
Yes, that's up on our YouTube if you want to see more. But you explain what happened.
Yeah, I actually won a writing commission from the silent auction. I was also sitting next to a friend of mine, Macarian, who is actually our guest relations lead this year. He was bidding on that quilt we were talking about. I think he was one. He either went up to 10,000 or 1,200.
12,000. I would know because I was standing right behind him at the sound booth. He went up. He was the one that hit 12,000, and then the winner from there jumped it straight up to the 20 grand.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, it's like, anyone want to spend more than... What I love about that story is that, the woman who basically got all the artists together was like, hey, I need quilts. Squares to make this quilt. She said, she actually went up there to help promote it, and she said, I'm not gonna do this again. At the point when she got 20,000, she was like, okay, I'm gonna have to do this again. And we'll have. It looks like we're going to have another quilt for the charity auction. Yes. So yeah, no.
All right. So moving on, the next announcement here is that the Everfree Northwest panel and event submissions are open, which is really great if you want to promote something that you yourself have made and you want to talk about it, or if there are people who would want to see you for whatever reason and you could get people coming to the con because they'll come to see you. It's right over on the Everfree Northwest website. You can fill out an application, which is in form now, which is actually quite a lot better because I recall submitting panels over the last couple of years over email was not terrible or anything, but it's a lot more organized having a form and all that. And I know I've already submitted a couple of events myself. Fingers crossed I actually get to do them again. But yeah, if you've got a panel, submit it now.
Yeah, that actually reminds me, I have to check to see I know somebody was talking about doing a headcanon panel. I'd love to see a headcanon panel at EFNW.
Headcanon
I'd see it.
I
have a fantastic headcanon
Everfree NW 15. Somebody make
it. Ooh, you know it'd be fun is a headcanon workshop as part of the writing track.
Let's send this over to Pico.
Send an email to Pico. Headcanon panel, let's do this.
Oh,
Pico,
yeah.
Headcanon panel, let's do this.
You're listening, right?
Email.
Listen now.
Send him an email.
Headcanon workshop. Do it.
But actually, though, still talk about applications. Like Light Solver. Anything else?
Oh, you always know we are. For instance, one of the things which we're always in need of is volunteers, and we have our positions available. Our volunteer application is open. So if you'd like to join our team, maybe even join this podcast, submit an application. and we'd love to see what you can do. You can find this on our website at everfreenW.com/volunteer to fill in the application below and submit it in.
Make sure you choose the right. Make sure you choose the right department. That'd be production.
Yes. No. The best department is PR. Best.
Totally PR.
Yes.
Totally PR.
Yes, we get them here and we relate to them.
We have all.
I may or may not be talking as a co-director of productions. What?
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 Actually, I'm on productions and PR, so I can't pick. I can't pick. You're both my favorites.
Yeah, you're both helping me out with some social.
Speaking of which, don't forget to hit up all of our social media outlets on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Reddit. Don't forget to hit those up. Every single one, it's however the custom URL is Everfree NW. So for Tumblr, it's everfreenw.tumblr.com, twitter.com/everfreenw. Same for Facebook, Reddit. We are Everfree NW is our username. So, and we have a subreddit open now, Everfree NW.
Yeah, we also have our forums on the MLP forums. We also have a DeviantArt account and a DeviantArt group. We also have a FilmFiction account and a FilmFiction group.
Yeah,
actually,
speaking of social media, what did we put out recently, Pony Tim?
Yes, we are actually put out a casting call for voice actors. And let me tell you, we've definitely been getting in a lot of applications, but we're basically we're getting ready to do a promo animation for our 2015 convention. But we need to find some voice actors. So, yeah, if you want to go ahead and go to our news section, everfreenw.com/news, you can find it under EFNW 2015 Voice Actor Casting Call.
Yeah, we need 2 female voices and 1 male. So if you can do a male voice, if you can do a female voice, apply. You don't necessarily have to be either. You just have to be able to sound like them.
Despite all the applications and everything that's been submitted, you very well could have a really good voice. Funny thing is, a lot of people don't really think they have a good voice until you listen.
Well, here's the thing, is something you learn in audio production, is that really everybody generally has a great voice. Unless you have a terrible voice, you have a pretty good voice. It's just once it takes some work, some mastering usually. You put a little layer on top of there, and most people sound good.
But yeah, so this one, there's a very quick turnaround time. The deadline for submissions is the end of the day on January 10th. So you only have about 2 days left.
Rest of today, 2 more days.
Now, we put out that casting will be announced on January 12th. We've been getting a good amount of submissions, so we may miss that deadline by a little bit.
I don't know about you, but I'm gonna work hard to make it work.
Oh, myself. Oh, totally.
Oh, right. Me and Tim are casting and such.
Yeah, we're gonna be we're 2 of the judges.
Yes, which I have experience being a casting director. Tim may not, but I trust his judgment. He's a good guy.
Well, thank you. But yeah,
you're welcome.
And I've been working on to get this animation going, so I have some of an idea of what I would like. But yeah, the animation itself is going to be about a minute, so there's not going to be that much to record. But yeah, hey, definitely throw your hat in the ring. We'd love to get your submission.
Yeah.
Our last bit of Everfree Northwest news, we touched on FilmFiction. Everfree Northwest has always been has always had a big focus on writing. Both. In fact, last year 2 years ago, we had 12 writing panels. Last year we had, I believe, 16 writing panels.
Oh yeah, including official writers who came, which were really great to listen to. They had some great perspectives on the craft.
Yeah, so actually, so we have our account on FilmFiction. We actually are now the official site blogger for MLP convention news on FilmFiction.
Woo!
So basically, for all of you convention types out there, if you have any type of writing news, be it fan fiction or be it like official writing news. Like, for example, GM Barrow, I believe, is coming to BabsCon. She's a writer, so they could totally send that our way, and we could get that on FinFiction. Actually, I should touch bases with BabsCon people about that.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I'd really want to go to, and this is kind of cross-promotion impromptu, but I really want to go to BronyCon because apparently they're actually casting mascot actors, and mascot and acting and mimery and such like that is really my forte, so that would be a ton of fun to do, but I can't get to Maryland.
Yeah, I live in Chicago, so in the Chicago area. Fun fact. So it actually takes me less time to get to where BronyCon is
even
than
more
to
interesting
Everfree Northwest.
I go to college in the Branson, Missouri area. It still takes me longer to get to BronyCon because I have to fly to Denver before I can go anywhere.
That's just a sad fact. You cannot get a direct flight.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I actually was at BronyCon.
St. Louis is 4 hours away by car.
Yeah, I actually was at BronyCon.
Plane ride and then add on to that on the back end.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I actually was at BronyCon. Well, I guess technically we're in 2015, so last year, 2014, I was at the Everfree Northwest booth, and it was a great time. Met a lot of people. And online friends and such. That's the best thing about cons is meeting the people that you know online.
Oh yeah, this I can't remember who said this, but there was someone who made the point that a con is kind of like summer camp. Because you get to see all your friends come around for one time a year. It's this weekend. You have a ton of fun. You're all just having fun. There's no judgment or whatever. You're just having a great time. And when it's over, and that's sad. But you'll get to see them next year.
All right, so that does it for our convention news. Now, this is the first show, so we had a lot of stuff to talk about. So, as this show goes on, following up shows, we probably won't take so long with the strictly Everfree Northwest news.
Yeah, a little shorter.
But yeah, now we're going to do a little bit of fandom news. First up, I'd like to talk about the EQD writing contest, the Most Dangerous Game writing contest. Basically, it looks like, Christy Daly, this writing contest, where it's basically a recreation of famous early works of the fanfiction community. So, for example, one of the prompts, Old Foe is reincarnated, and what does as a youngling, what does the main six do when they find out? And that's past sins. Prompt. There's ones for Fallout Equestria, Anthropology, heck, even Cupcakes.
Of course. Cupcakes is not well written.
I have read.
Dang it, it's just shock value.
Is better, but not. It's
okay.
Still shock value. But serious question, at this point, how long is the entire Fallout Equestria universe? It's gotta be nearing.
It's so.
It's gotta be nearing
trying.
2 million.
It's not even trying. I'm not even gonna try.
I believe. Yeah, when they printed it out, wasn't it like 6 books for the main story?
It's 500,000 words
for the main story.
Yeah, main story is 500,000 words. So
yeah, no,
wow.
I remember because at Everfree 12, I was running audio in that room, and they had a box there, and the books just kept coming out. And it's like, here's one set, and it was like 6 books.
Actually, though, I didn't think I was going to do this because none of the prompts really interested me. But then I looked it over again when I was getting ready for this, and I'm like, you know what? The past sins one, I may be able to make that work. So, who knows? This may be... It seems like every time I write fanfiction, it's because of an EQD prompt.
Oh, that would be Calpain, that is true.
Calpain,
please!
Actually, no, I don't think it's Calpain for that one. It's for fandom relations.
Can we blame...
Yes,
can we blame...
it's the ferret. Yep, that's
Which,
it.
it's the ferret.
When do we get to blame PK?
She's a friend of mine on Skype.
Has he ever been let out of the basement yet?
In fact, I'm going to go to Skype now. Where is Ferret? There she is. Ferret, I blame you.
Sure.
There we go.
I just love that laugh. That laugh was beautiful. This perfect little chuckle.
But yeah, and then, so if if you're a veteran writer or you're just getting into it, hey, this could be a good chance to jump in. And there are actually lots of prizes. There's like a bunch of artists that will do be doing art for winners and such. So yeah, definitely. If you're right, you may win something. Now moving on. Speaking of cons, our friends over at Brony Can they're actually returning for 2015. So their new website and pre-registration is opening up January 15th. So if you don't want to go to one con, come to ours. But if you go to two, no, think about maybe going to theirs.
If you're Canadian and your passport is good, you can only go to one. I guess Brony Can is an acceptable alternative.
We're joshing, right. But no, they're great guys.
Yeah, there's also a lot of cross-pollination in staffs because they are Vancouver-based. So you won't necessarily see all of us there, but you'll see some of the same staff members at both Everfree Northwest and Brony Can, as well as Babs. There's a lot of cross-pollination between the conventions, which is a really great thing in my opinion.
Honestly, like a little behind baseball.
I know I'd be going if I had a passport.
Yeah, a little behind baseball. There's not. I mean, there's sometimes a little fun competition between cons, but I mean, pretty much we're all volunteer organizations, so we're all trying to help people have a great time. So it's I don't see a lot of anybody butting heads, and I have a great time. Like actually, I went to this one con recently. In the Midwest, and I had dinner with
which one was that? Was that
guys at this great German restaurant.
I wanted to go to that, but I had class.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, it just worked. I could only go the one day, so it just worked out. And they are a fantastic group of people, and actually got some great
There's one thing that you
ideas
have to admit right now.
So no, I mean, like
you just still see his front page.
What do I have to admit?
I have to agree with that. And Dana Simpson did
it's actually Brony
designing front page for us. I cannot thank her enough.
It's so good. It's so
absolutely.
Good. She was only supposed to be our 2013 mascot. We're supposed to do new mascots, and she's just stuck with us. So 2014, 2015. So she's pretty much our official mascot.
Yes. So next thing on the news here, we have two more items that I'll be going through kind of quickly here, since we had to pack in so much for the con news. That's the one. Let's see. EQD's list of the top 10 fan animations of 2014 went up recently, and some of the notable things on there are Bar Buddies, which Jan Animations did before the cease and desist he received, and what is it? The Chip of Discord, I believe it's called. It's from the people who did the Children of the Night music video. It's a very cute, very, very well done, like amazingly professional looking for a fan animation. Cute little video. So check that out. Check out this list of the Pony fan animations. They're all ton of fun. Just watch through them. Have a good time. Then last thing I wanted to touch on, which we discussed before the show that we might actually make this into a show topic later on if we're needing something. But I've noticed that there are a ton of cons last year and coming up this next year that have been announced that are starting up, and they're just springing up pretty much everywhere all over the world. And if you look on EQD, you can see lists of all the cons that are going on, either that already happened and are continuing or are going to be next year. So there's a pretty good chance that it'll be a lot closer to where you live now, if that's travel has always been the big thing holding you back from going to more cons. They got a great
app, by the way, too. And if you're not looking for the app, they also have a really nice. They formatted with Google Docs, this whole list or whatever, which you can see all the PonyCons, what's going on, what's not, and it even gives like facts and figures over all of them.
Oh. What's that app called, and is it on iPhone, Android,
it's PonyCon,
Microsoft, etc., etc.?
It is on, I believe it's on Android. I know it's on iPhone, and I believe that's it for now. Or it might be on Windows, so I can't remember.
Play Store. It should be in the Google Play Store if it's on Android.
Yeah. Well, actually,
it's not on Amazon. I have checked. It is not on the Amazon store yet. I don't believe.
But yeah, no, there are a lot of cons in the U.S. and Canada. Yeah, I mean, like in Europe, I mean, there's the Friendship Express Con in Malaysia. So I believe there's one or two in Russia. I mean, like there's just a ton of conventions now, even international.
There was one even that surprised me, which is in Czechoslovakia, even, or well, not Czechoslovakia, the Czech Republic, because it split up at one point and now it's Czech Republic, Slovakia. Yes, my family's Slavic, so they know the whole situation.
Mine too. Well,
oh, hey, cool.
On my father's side, complete Czechoslovakian.
Maybe I should save that for later. I have a question specific to Slovakian stuff that I've been meaning to find out from other families, but
I'll ask you after the show. Each other.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the last of the news. Mm-hmm. So
I guess we'll go on to the main topic, which today's topic, we're just going to be talking about. It's a pretty laid back topic. Just going to talk about the con, about the podcast, and about us as the hosts.
Uh-oh.
Yes. You get to learn a little bit about us. So, so let's go ahead and begin with what is Everfree Northwest? Well, Everfree Northwest is the premier Pacific Northwest MLP fan convention.
I think you're reading this off of somewhere.
Off the top of my head.
Which gave you such an idea?
Wait.
Insult.
I'm fairly certain that is the exact wording we've got on our about page, but it is a great way of saying it. It is.
He just has it memorized. He's that good at PR.
I've been here since the beginning.
Exactly. He probably wrote that.
But yeah, Mom. We're getting ready for our 4th year. Actually, we've been around since 2012. Actually, fun fact about our first year: we were expecting what? I believe it was like maybe 500 people. We had
something like that. Yeah.
I was talking to Bajati, and he said our initial tickets we had planned up to 550 initially or so. Then with the first wave of new tickets, we bumped it up to I want to say 1,000.
That's correct.
And then the third wave we went up. I want to say it was 1,200.
Something like that. I recall being there first year in Con Ops and just hearing everything as people kept coming through about how many more and more people we were getting and how it was escalating, and it was kind of stressful at the time, but really it ended up being super cool the whole time, and surprisingly everybody had a great time, even though that kind of side-blinded us. We actually kept things going pretty nicely.
As the joke in productions was that year, at the time it was actually called AV, convention's so nice we sold out thrice.
Ooh. Yeah, a fun fact, I believe we were also the first 3-day MLP fan convention.
We were?
Yeah, because I believe BronyCon
really?
That year was doing 3.
But they were after us. They were doing 3 that year, but they were a month after us.
Yeah, so we just got in there, if I'm remembering correctly. You're like, yeah.
That was also back when BronyCon was every 6 months.
True. Very true.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess you could say they were going 4 days a year. So
4 days a year, but it was split across two.
Yeah, there was just like a 6-month something break between the two chunks of the con.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't get your BronyCon fix anymore, you should be able to, since it's going to 2035 or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, no, they've planned for a while, but honestly, I mean, they're probably going to be the ones that last the longest. I mean, Everfree Northwest, we're either the second or third largest MLP con in the world.
I'd say second, probably, since we're pretty much the first big West Coast con.
I think BabsCon
the argument can be made for Babs. Let's be honest.
I believe that they surpassed our 2030.
Babs came after us.
No, if you're asking by people, hold on. I can actually pull up the figures because it's on the...
Oh boy. Numbers. Figures. Clickers. Where you go.
All right. So
it's that many people.
2014... the highest number appears to be, we got 2,500. Oh wait, that's us. All right. Yeah, I'm seeing 2,500 for us. Babscon has 23, 50. Yep. And BronyCon. I'm not seeing BronyCon. Where the?
Well, last year I think this year I think they had
holy
9,000. So
yes, 9,607.
So we're the second largest, and we're like about fourth the size.
Yeah.
So BronyCon gets its own thing. It doesn't.
BronyCon is.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go off of with fan cons, the rule of thumb is that you'd assume it would kind of drop off after the show ends, which considering season 5's happening, and we know the movie is happening in a couple of years, so it'll probably go at least that long. It's gonna be interesting to see if we can stand the test of time, so to speak, much as Star Trek did, where even a decade after the original show ended, there were still, like, fan things going on, and for the longest time, there hasn't been a real Star Trek series in a really long time, but there's still people doing that fandom and still doing conventions for it and things, so I feel like the pony community will probably stick around, and they'll stick around at least for a few years after the show, enough so much that cons may get smaller, but they'll still last for a while after the show ends.
Oh yeah, I completely
Turn
agree.
into Doctor Who.
Yes.
There's like 2 audio
regenerate.
podcasts of like.
Actually, thinking about
Doctor.
Twilight kind of regenerated if you consider becoming an alicorn a regeneration.
Twilight Force was confirmed for Time Lord. What?
Just
Keep
keep
it
it
going.
going.
And the actor didn't change, so no.
Technically,
But,
no,
I mean, this community-
but she changed her portrayal because you have to change how the voice sounds because the wings will affect the body. Voice acting stuff.
Headcanon.
It's a voice acting deal. Getting into the deep baseball of it. You don't need to hear it. You probably don't even care.
But yeah, I mean, I actually just lost my train of thought.
I derailed it.
Must have been a short train. Sing to myself. Oh. But yeah,
So, how about them ponies?
they're pretty cool.
Oh man, I love those.
Have you ever seen that they got conventions of those going on?
I
yeah.
do know. No, actually, I remember. Well, I think we're going to be able to go on for a while just because of how creative the community is.
What was the live stream?
Yeah, we see it. It's Lightsolver.
Hello, welcome
keep
back.
Working on that. We'll talk.
Okay, we're good.
Blah, blah, blah. Oh, we're back. Hey, everybody.
We're back.
We exist.
That didn't take long. Good job, Lightsolver.
Thumbs up.
Lightsolver. He doesn't just solve light. He doesn't just solve light.
I do. I'm working on
Now,
my degree.
here's the thing. Do you mean solve as in terms of a problem, or solve as in terms of a solvent?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know how smart Lightsolver is, Lightsolver, you can...
God, I hate chemistry.
What are you going to school for again?
I'm going to school to get my, currently working towards my bachelor's degree in physics. I want to hopefully work in, maybe studying working on quantum field theory or studying superconductors.
String theory?
So
No,
I
I
have
hate
a
string
degree in
theory.
physics
Screw
for you.
string theory. It's
So I have-
mathematically better,
Speaking
but
of,
screw it.
I was actually listening to a thing, Brian Wecht, who you might know if you know the band Ninja Sex Party. He's Ninja Brian. He's also a string theorist. He's one of the bigger people in the field. But he was making the joke that he's a quantum theorist, and even though he does keep his life to that, and he has all these great ideas for that and things, he constantly makes the joke that not only does his field not affect the world at all, it has no chance of. So I thought you'd like that.
I did. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot too because I do have a degree in physics.
Well,
Really?
You're so smart. I went to school. I went to art school.
I have an associate's degree in physics from Highline Community College. I did the Running Start program that Washington State offers. I graduated high school. With my degree in physics, and now I'm studying computer science at College of the Ozarks in Point Lookout, Missouri.
Since we're like,
And I
talking
graduated
about,
in May.
what,
I graduated
hopefully
in
school
May.
year, I'm actually going back to school for nursing. So.
Cool. Nurse Tim,
Maybe
leader
after a
of the
while
nurses.
we can start calling you doctor. Is that any possibility?
You can actually
Doctor.
get a PhD as a nurse, but then, of course, I mean, you call a nurse a doctor, that could get confusing, so I'm not actually sure how that works.
Dr. Nurse Tim.
And you could be like Stuart Ashens. He just became a psychologist so that he could have doctor on his credit card.
Well,
Speaking of that, I'm actually working towards a minor in psychology.
Well, what you should do is you should get your doctorate just so you could say that whenever anybody meets with you, it's a doctor's appointment.
Nice.
That
I can
includes
charge
the
the money.
Yeah.
And you could call your studio the doctor's office.
Nice.
No, I am the doctor.
Oh!
Time! Relative dimensions.
Time and relative dimensions.
Well, we technically are always time traveling.
1 hour per hour.
Technically, but you're being semantical.
Semantics.
Yay. Yeah. So, the show topic says we'll talk about all the people. We've already learned a little about Light Solver. What is your role in Everfree Northwest, though, Light?
I send emails to people and bug them. No, I'm fandom relations, so yeah. I scream at Calpain. That's all I do.
Alright, Calpain, throw this on the Equestria Daily.
Calpain, please!
Calpain, post this now!
But yeah, so, and what do you do besides Everfree Northwest?
Oh, outside of Everfree Northwest, I also
Yeah,
do
I mean, like,
some...
in the fandom.
Oh, yeah. Like, for instance, I actually recently got on Ponyville Live's PR team, and hopefully you'll be hearing more about Ponyville Live. Go check them out. You actually should probably know
they
about
recorded
them.
they did the video recording of the con last year, Everfree Northwest.
And this podcast is a member of the PVL network.
Yes, it is.
Exactly.
It's on Ponyville FM.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this on either our live stream channel or on YouTube, we do have this also streams on Philadelphia Radio.
Yeah. Actually, next to, if you're actually on the live stream and you can see him, he's a part of that. He's
Shout
awesome.
out to Nexus.
Yep, he's in the call to stream us.
Yeah, Nexus is a really cool guy.
Yes, he's an interesting fellow with many anecdotes to speak to you with.
He's probably sleeping right now or something.
Who?
Probably.
But yeah,
So how about you?
How about you, Dapper?
Oh, me. For Everfree Northwest, I've been going since 2012, and I always volunteered just because they comp your badges. For the next year, they used to, but now they do it same year if you're a volunteer. But I was originally Con Ops, then I was Gaming, then I was Arts and Crafts Room last year, and now I am the video editor, and I'm putting together all of the panel videos and the Pony Stock videos that have already gone up on our YouTube channel. The panel videos, in case you're wondering, they're rendering. I think I mentioned that earlier. But they are rendering, and they are going to be going up, hopefully, soonish. So check out our YouTube channel for that. As for me personally, in the fandom, I do the act of Dapper Jack, which is a music act, and I have a YouTube channel for that, and there's lots of cha-poppy stuff. It's like Victorian area hip-hop sort of thing, kind of steampunky, kind of goofy and silly. If you were at Pony Stock last year, at Everfree Northwest, that's the nightly music thing that we have there. I had a set on the Saturday last year, which was a ton of fun, and you can actually see that on the YouTube channel as well.
And we actually got it started on time.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Shocked.
Yeah, the planets aligned.
Hey,
yeah. It was a ton of fun doing that, and it was really cool interacting with all the musicians and such.
If that's what you're going to call it, then yes.
You must be a magician.
Otherwise, I've done, actually, going back to Everfree Northwest, I do panels on occasion. Actually, the last 2 years I've done panels on voice acting, which is the one where they do the dramatic reading. If you've been to that one, that was me running that. And I submitted another one for this next year coming up, so hopefully it gets accepted again. And I I submitted a panel on lyricizing, so writing lyrics, which is going to be a ton of fun to write, but again, if it's accepted, which hopefully it is, and hopefully I'll be playing Pony Stock again.
Crossing fingers.
But the last year went pretty well, so I think there's a good chance of that, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, B-Pen, how about you?
I exist. I help run our Reddit, both the subreddit and the Reddit account. If you see an announcement from the Reddit account, that's probably me. I am also at the convention. I am co-director of productions with Eclipse, who is not part of this podcast. Somebody decided last year that I get a fancy title, and I'm like, okay, cool. So here I am as I'm co-director of productions. So we are the ones who run the light and sound for Pony Stock. We are the ones who run the light and sound for all of the panels. If you can't hear anything, it's probably my fault. I will say that, because that's our job, is to make sure that everybody can hear and see everything. On that extension, I'm kind of Dapper Jack's boss in that regard, but not really.
He's my boss. Tim is my boss. I got two bosses. Split it between the two.
Yeah. The thing is, technically Tim's my boss as well, but then put on a different hat, and we're equals in the convention hierarchy.
But what with the boss, but also not, and
yeah,
brain.
I am the reason that database exceptions exist. All your computer scientists out there are laughing right now, I'm sure of it. But no, for the convention, I help run the productions department. Like I said, we're the ones that ran Pony Stock, and as we mentioned a few minutes ago, we actually got Pony Stock started on time for once. 2012, Friday afternoon, we were an hour and a half late. Saturday afternoon, we were 3 hours late. We actually had some sets on Sunday because of that. 2013,
yeah, I recall.
Both nights. 2014, Friday night, we were late by 45 minutes, and Saturday, for the first time, we got it right on.
Yes.
Woo!
It was awesome.
And I was there, and I played at exactly 9:35, I think it was.
Yeah,
I
think
recall.
we slipped by
it was fun, though.
We slipped over the course of the evening. We slipped 10 minutes on.
That's pretty common in any
night. Yeah, that was
music set, though.
That was amazingly good. Elsewhere in the fandom, I don't do all that much. I read some fan fiction, not very much. I am often on Reddit, on the My Little Pony subreddit. I look at the art that's posted there. I discuss stuff on MLP Lounge. But in the fandom, I don't really do all that much because I'm in the middle of studying for and working towards graduating. I graduate almost exactly 3 weeks before the convention starts. So I'm focusing on both the convention and my studies so I can graduate, actually pass all the classes so I can graduate, and then get back to Seattle to help run a convention.
Yeah, look at the big brain on Pendragon getting his book learnings and studying.
Yes.
Take notes, burn the candle at both ends.
No.
Coffee keeps you up.
Oh, so much. So much. Actually, that's kind of funny because I work at Starbucks as a barista to give me my spend.
I was in the Starbucks for a while too, for about a year, and I changed jobs recently, but apparently I might have to go back to Starbucks because hours are dropping off. So fun.
Yeah, no.
Barista. So actually, funny anecdote about that. A friend of mine who went to Everfree Northwest for the first time in 2013 afterwards wrote a song about it. And one of the lyrics was "Rivers of Coffee."
That is so accurate. No, Eclipse and I set up a coffee pot at the front of house because we knew we'd need it. But yeah, so I work at Starbucks, and I also College of the Ozarks is a really cool little program. I'm gonna kind of promote that for a second here. It's a conservative Christian college in the Ozarks, Southwest Missouri. But the cool thing about it. Yeah, I I work on campus, and that pays my tuition. I will graduate in May, having spent less.
That's really cool.
I will have spent less than $10,000 on room, board, and books, and I will graduate with a bachelor. So I work.
Wow. Hey, here's a question. What's the theater program like?
What's the what?
Is there a theater program at that school?
There is a theater program, and it's actually fairly good. I don't work with them directly, but I know a lot of the people in it because I work at the radio station, which is kind of partly why I'm on this show right here because I do radio, and I like doing radio. But
yes, audio production and mastering, it's fun. I do it without having to be radio. I just do it because I have fun doing it.
Yeah, it's quite fun and it pays my tuition. So, but we have a theater department on campus. It's actually a workstation on one of the 80 some odd workstations on campus, the workstation is you run the lights, you run the sound, you make the sets, all that for the play. We always do a big play, a big musical in the spring, and usually a smaller thing in the fall, and it's always lots of fun to go and watch.
I might have to look into that because I've been looking into getting back to school, and that sounds like a sweet situation, especially if you can get your tuition by working in the radio box there. That's something I can help manage with.
There isn't a post-grad program. It's only up through bachelor's though, so that should be no.
I'll look into it. See what situations
it is literally the most selective college in Missouri, so there's also that.
Yes. Don't have great academicals, so
yeah, you don't need it. You need something like a 21 on your ACT. And financial need. The key is financial need. You need to show some form of financial need because the program is.
21.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because you need to, the mission statement of the college is that it's for to give an equal opportunity for all students to receive an education, especially those found worthy but without the financial means to do as such. So it's one of those. So what it does. So the idea is that 90% of the students show some form of financial need. So they wouldn't necessarily be able to afford to go to a state school even or anywhere.
I definitely fall under that.
Yeah, my parents are both graduates, and that's how I came to know about the program.
Cool.
Yep.
I'm going to look into that. That sounds like a very interesting sort of opportunity.
Oh, very cool.
Yep.
I think actually. Tim, if you wouldn't mind, I could speak about Shotzi for a minute, since he's not here to speak for himself. Yes, okay, so Shotzi Stoffel, who is not here right now, but he is one of our rotating hosts. We're usually only going to have 2 or 3 people each week because of schedules and things. So Shotzi couldn't make it today, but he'll be one of the rotating hosts, and he is the captain of the Royal Guard for Everfree Northwest, which means head of security, if you take off all the fanciness.
You mess with the convention, you mess with
he's
him.
A cool person.
Yeah.
He's a cool person. He was in Don DeVore and the Cutie Marks for a little while as a bassist. That was the bigger thing that I remember of his exploits. But he is a great, great warrior, and he will be around.
But yeah, I guess I'll throw in who I am, and I do. I'm the co-director of PR, so public relations. So social media, announcements, that's from my department. I actually got into the team back in 2012 when this department was called media. And I joined up because 2012, they maxed out at 1,500, so I couldn't get in. So I'm like, you know, I'll just go as a volunteer, and then I can get in. So that's why I never volunteered for a con before. And it turns out I absolutely loved it, so I kept coming back. And now I'm the director of the department, co-director.
Yeah, same here.
That's kind of how we all went.
I had never even been to a convention before 2012 Everfree, and I volunteered, and I've been volunteering since. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah. I had been to one convention before Everfree 12, and that was Emerald City Comic Con 2012, which is where I first really heard about Everfree.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good tip for con going. If you can't make it as just a regular con goer, look into volunteering. If they have volunteering open, like even PAX, which is notoriously horrible to get into because of being so,
popular.
Yeah, popular is the word. You got it. If you go as an enforcer, that's a great way to get in, and you might not see all of the con because you still have to do your duties, but you'll see more of it than you would have if you hadn't gone at all. Also, another thing, some cons, if you get your name out there as a panelist, sometimes cons will let you in through that. I know PAX, with some of their more popular panelists, will actually give the badge to some of their panelists.
Very cool. But yeah, that fun thing about cons, actually, I remember when I first heard about BronyCon, I'm like, why do we have to have cons for this? I mean, can't we get all the conning we need from, like, panels at Comic-Cons and stuff?
Yeah, can we con out all the people we need?
Yeah, so I went from that to now running a department for con. So yeah, that was quite the turnaround of thought.
What a con artist.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, outside the fandom, outside the Everfree Northwest, I dabble in some writing. I think I have 3 or 4 stories on fiction. I have some art.
Oh yes, he does. You should go check him out.
You guys. Serious question. Check your own studio. It looks like it's overflowed, and it may be messing up on us. Mine is quit responding.
No, it's fine. It only shows the 3 characters, so it's gotten quite a few beats in. Since it's supposed to be a music program, it's counting the beats.
Mine has gone into 9999.
Yeah, it happens.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. And again, even if it's messed up, we'll know for next time. I'm recording with Pamela, so it's still recorded.
We'll cut this. But yeah, yeah, and the big one outside of Everfree Northwest that I do is I'm also on the Milo Investigations team. Yeah, I do field character animations for that group. I also, when we actually have the announcements, usually when it's like, hey, we need some more people to help us with stuff, or hey, game's out. Here it is, play it. Then I'll jump, because I do PR for Everfree Northwest, I jump into that role. But yeah, so that's a big one, but I write, but only for EQD prompts, it seems. Like, I have other ideas in my brain that I'm like, oh, I'm totally going to write this, and then I don't.
I know how you feel. I have notebooks and notebooks, and my phone is full of so many different premises that I have not worked on yet. Though I'm working on actually working them together, because I hope to actually do some bigger things, which we'll probably get into as things progress with this podcast.
Things are always better to do tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's good. I think we pretty much covered who we are. We talked about the podcast a little bit. We're running a little bit long. We're going to be in the future.
Yeah, but this is the first episode back. We haven't done one since actually the live one we did at the last Everfree, so it's a bit of catch up. So it's running a little bit longer than it usually will. We'll try and go about an hour after this, but for now we're being a little more lax because we know there's more to cover.
Go long for a little bit. That's cool. That's cool.
I'm gonna go long and bad.
Yeah, I mean, in the coming weeks, we're going to be trying to do it every single Thursday. So, yeah, be sure to tune in every Thursday. Ding. We'll try and keep it to an hour.
Hey, I've only got it 4 minutes over right now, so we're actually doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're not doing too bad.
Yeah, we're doing good.
You know what? Let's finish up talking about ourselves by who's your favorite character and what's your favorite episode.
Wash your tongue, you can't do a thing with it.
Episode from the show.
Wait, we talking main 6 or all?
all. Just whoever.
All. Okay.
Just any character.
Boy, I'm gonna sound cheap.
Me personally, I know my favorite character is Chanceling Puddinghead. Short character, 1 episode, but that's funny. But okay, that's kind of a joke. Actually, Pinky is really my favorite character for deep reasons. Don't want to bum everything out. It's kind of a darker story, but let's just say that bad things were going to happen, and then Pinky kind of saved my life in ways that I won't get into here, but that's that. And then as far as favorite episode, I'd say, honestly, the two-parter, the intro to Season 2 with Discord is probably the peak of the entire series for me. It's been all downhill since there. I'm joking, but that's a really, really good two-parter. And it really showed the potential of the show right there. That was really impressive.
All right.
Light Solver, what's yours?
Oh, you have to pick me next. I'm gonna be a total cheap out and say Luna. She's awesome. She's got an actual personality. Well, okay, sorry. She's got a slight personality. We know more about it than we do Celestia for one, but she's alright.
Hey, Celestia's got a personality. She's a jokester. She jokes
That's a
around.
random personality. That's headcanon.
No. When she shows up, she messes around with her subjects. Have you not seen that?
Well, if you're talking about
Have you
comics,
not? I watched the episode where
let's
she went to
include
Ponyville, the
comics.
Philomena episode. She jokes around.
We're
It's
including
true.
comics.
It's real. It
Well,
happens.
then in that
Comics.
case,
Hey,
Luna's
It's canon.
To everyone, if you haven't read the comics, I mean, some of them aren't so
Read
great,
them.
but some of them are amazing.
Oh my
Like,
god, yeah.
like the
Oh,
Big
yeah.
Mac
Oh,
one, or the,
Actually, I
Candy
wish we'd
Bake
been
one.
doing the show then, but there was a humble MLP bundle where it was all the MLP comics up to that point a couple months ago, and that was the best way to catch up on all the comics, was to do that, which is what I did, but it's over now, sadly, but that would have been great to plug on the show here.
I do. I get mine through Comixology. Basically, I wait for them to go on like half the price. Usually, it's like the newest one is full price, and the next one is half. So that's how I keep up with it.
That's a good
I'm
way
actually
to.
a big proponent of getting
Comixology
the
is really
physical comics. You know, I don't know.
It's nice to have physical comics, but they kind of, after a while, it kind of stacks up and they tend to clutter and things. It's tricky. And especially if you live somewhere like I do, where you can't actually get mail at your house, you have to go to a P.O. box and such. Getting stuff mailed is kind of inconvenient.
That's why after a while you get them graded and then you sell them on eBay for lots of money, right?
Yeah, for like about $500,000.
Clever. Or
ridiculous.
better, you read them once and then you get them graded immediately and then just hang on to them until they're worth more.
You buy two and you just like instantly put one in plastic, and then you read the other one, and that's money, son. That's money.
Money.
Yep.
And then you retire
X-Men
to
number
your mansion,
one, totally
you know,
worth $1 billion now.
Next thing you know, you're going on a treasure hunt with a... Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, favorite episode, like...
Oh, yeah. I'd just have to say the battle with Turek part... I'd say part 2 up until the treehouse thing. That was
sad.
Oh, the soul. Like,
I almost cried.
oh, what you say, oh.
And then also then up to the second actual treehouse. I mean, why didn't they go with the old castle? Why not?
I don't know.
It was along in the whole thing. They were even cleaning it and fixing it up. I thought, like, oh, hey, how perfect. It's a
summer castle.
Becomes...
Yeah.
Like, she has her castle for, like, most of the time. Then she goes there for the summer.
Her summer castle is right down the road.
Summer.
Yes.
I don't even think it's. I don't think it's
conveniently placed, I guess.
Yeah.
Be penned.
You make me choose. Okay. Main characters. I'd say probably Twilight Sparkle or Princess Luna. It's kind of a tie up there. If I were to choose a background character, it'd probably be Coco because she's.
Good choice.
And then favorite episode is probably Bats. I just love that one. The music that Daniel put together for that one was so good. The story was It wasn't like any lesson was really learned. I guess listen to your friends, yell at bats. I guess if you were to do that.
Yell at bats.
Well, do you guys know? Do you guys remember the every episode summed up in like one sentence video?
Yeah,
And it's like Dragon Shy. Yell at dragons, I guess. Yell at bats.
I prefer the Brony Mike's, what is it, Randy Newman sings season 1, where he just turns every episode into a Randy Newman song. That was fun.
Bats is
the
probably
best
my favorite episode.
Yeah.
I guess it's my turn.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Yes, Tim, go.
This one's going to be this one, I don't think, of the main 6, I'd have to say AJ. I think she's like the perfect straight. I mean, if the episode focuses on her, she's kind of iffy, but she's like a great, straight man. Yeah,
supporting.
She's a great straight man to everyone else's craziness.
That's true. Well, Twilight's a pretty good straight character too, but AJ really exemplifies it.
Yeah, it used to be Spike, but some of his latest episodes were kind of like, oh, really?
Spike has turned into the doormat recently.
Yeah. I feel so bad for the guy. It's like, stop being on Spike. Poor Spike. Mm-hmm. Poor guy.
Poor Spike.
But yeah, and the episode actually is the season 2 lesson 0. Just because. Now, I like this one because I think it really allowed them. I mean, beforehand.
Oh god, that was hilarious.
They had to try and get Twi into everything because she had to write the synopsis at the end. That freed them up to just like not have to include her. Like they could just do it like a.
Oh, as a plot device, that was actually a pretty perfect episode.
Yeah, some episodes you don't see some of the others.
But then you get into my problem is then that we then lost Dear Princess Celestia, which was always so fun.
Dear Princess Celestia, I learned nothing.
I didn't learn anything.
Drink cider, learn nothing.
Dear Princess Celestia, today I learned, maybe I'll learn something tomorrow.
A Phillips screwdriver is persuasive but not seductive.
Wait, what? What?
Ew. This is PG, you...
Do you know... Okay, come on. You guys not know what that's from?
I have no idea.
Nope.
I can't think... Rainbow Dash Presents.
Oh, I've only seen it. I like it. I just...
A Phillips head screwdriver.
I've only seen like the Cupcakes one and the Biker
Gorilla. Ones are the ones with Pinky, just that voice. Like, you have fans! Oh.
You have Pinky.
Yes.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, she's got the split personality thing.
Yeah, that's...
random cool thing.
We're going to end today. We're going to end each episode by just going over... just one cool thing. It does not have to be MLP related. It could be whatever cool thing you've seen on the internet or in real life. Right? I mean, if you read the paper, if you find a cool thing in the paper, awesome. But my cool thing, this guy actually does involve Everfree. Basically, artist Rusishu. I'm probably butchering that. He's artist from Poland, and he's trying to fund his trip from Poland to EFNW.
Really?
Yeah, so he actually has Indiegogo going. Let's see. Indiegogo.com/projects/Everfree-Northwest-2015-journey. Yeah, he actually...
We'll make sure to put a link in the YouTube video.
Yeah, totally. And let's see. He is his goal is 3,500, but he's already up to 1,220. So
nice.
29% there. So
is that dollars or whatever currency they use?
USD dollars.
USD. Okay. Because the Polish use the euro, I believe.
Yeah, like
yeah.
if you have the money for
No, they use the zloty, or however that's pronounced. I'm sorry.
Zloty?
Yeah, the perks mostly revolve around commissions. Yeah, so
he does?
worth looking out.
Do commissions?
Yeah, well, he's an artist.
Yep.
That's awesome.
He'll draw you up a thing, and you just gotta give him some money.
Yeah.
He'll draw you a thing, and all he'll ask is for payment.
I mean, if you fund the whole thing, if you pay $3,500, he will draw you a commission for free for the rest of his life, one commission a month.
Oh,
wow. I don't think I could even come up with enough ideas to warrant that. Then again, I don't really commission people because I could just draw it up myself if I really wanted it.
But yeah, so that's my cool thing. Who's next?
Me, because I wrote it down, and those guys are going to have to scramble.
I read
theirs. Find a random thing while I speak.
Mine.
I'm good.
Okay. I'm just going to take this time to plug my YouTubes because I'm putting out a lot more stuff on them recently. Firstly, like I said earlier, Dapper Jack is the music act I do. I have fully produced songs on that YouTube, and I actually put up all of the songs from my set at Ponystock 2014 on there as well, if you want to see that. It was a very interesting thing. I set up a whole storyline thing. I'm playing a character there. I'm a robot, and I'm doing robot things, and it's interdimensional stuff. So you'll see. Just go watch the set. It'll explain it. It'll make sense, probably. But, yeah, just look up Dapper Jack on YouTube, and you should be able to find it. It should be the one that's clearly pony-related. There's another one, if you go users Dapper Jack, that's somebody else. I don't know why it links to that, but, yeah, just go check that out. And then on my personal YouTube, which is Iggy, quote-unquote, Dapper Jack Kid, with 2 Ds, I'm putting out Dapper Time, which is a solo podcast I'm doing. It's like 3 to 10 minutes of me just rambling while I warm up to record. It's about a bunch of different stuff. I actually recorded one about microphones right before this to warm up, and then I've got one going up about Totoro soon. I talked about the recent Starbomb album on one. Lots of different stuff going up. Oh, and I'm teaching myself animation, so those will be going up on the personal one, which is Iggy Dapper Jack Kid again. And just look up Dapper Jack on YouTube. You'll find both of them. Subscribe, click like on all the different stuff, watch them through, yada, 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 yada. Hope you enjoy them. Go find them. Go, please. I need these. Well, I don't need them, but I want them.
I don't need them, but I need them.
He desires your view count.
I don't need them.
He needs those.
I desire it. I want it over 20 a video at least, rather than the 5 or so I get.
It's okay. Mine average 3.
Anyways, on to someone else.
Go. Kind of on a related note, I think all of us probably actually have a social media account you can follow us at. For me, it's twitter.com/thebpendragon, but that's not what I'm going to be talking about. But we should all make sure that we note that so people who like what we say can follow us. But is everybody there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, my audio in just died on me. It was weird. But my thing is I've been watching the Consumer Electronics Show over this last week or so down in Las Vegas, and one of the things I saw that I thought was really cool was a smart coffee pot. It uses like an iPhone or an Android app and then like a fitness tracker, one of the ones that tracks your sleep patterns. And it determines if you didn't have a restful night's sleep, and if your night's sleep was not restful, it makes your coffee stronger for you.
That is amazing.
I want one. I'm throwing my money in this. Possibly, but it's one of those automatic coffee makers, so I wouldn't hold my breath on that. But it's like one of those things. I'm throwing my money at the screen, but nothing's happening.
That sounds amazing. This sounds
because
so cool.
Because sometimes the blood content in my caffeine stream gets way too high.
Okay, deep breaths.
Breathe.
Not that deep. Not that deep.
Okay, Tim, is it your turn?
I did my cool thing, but I guess I'll throw in my socials. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Pony Tim. My DeviantArt mrpenaltytim.deviantart.com, and my Tumblr, mrpenaltytim.tumblr.com.
So who hasn't gone?
Yes, follow his DeviantArt. He puts up good arts, and they are pretty. I actually saw some because my internet was out for a month, and DeviantArt had piled up. I saw them. They were pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
stuff.
ton of like quick sketches, so it's not all like amazing or anything. But I think I have a few that aren't too bad. Like
It's better than the amount of stuff that I put out. In terms of quantity, at the very least, he's putting out stuff often enough to check out.
Aw, thank you. That's nice.
And quality.
Just
I was joking. Quantity and quality. He's good.
I haven't put out anything in a bit, but actually,
I hadn't put anything out since. I'll give you an idea of how long I go between updates on DeviantArt. The last thing I put up was about a month ago. I changed my journal when I did that, and the last time I put anything up, I also changed my journal. That journal was saying I was in the ConOps room at Everfree Northwest 2012.
Okay.
So about 2 years since I had updated DeviantArt.
Yeah, so
I've almost got you beat, but not quite.
yeah, so Lights Oliver. I mean, what's your cool thing, and what's your socials?
X-Plane. It's something I actually found about on Twitter.
X-Plane is beautiful.
Oh yeah, X-Plane is really cool. It's actually
Somebody just made my day.
Oh, I'll be glad. But it's a pretty realistic flight simulator that actually it's so realistic that some people have built, like, you know, one of the kind of when you sit in an airplane. What?
Yeah, full cockpit demos. Oh, it's so cool.
Full cockpit. And they've gotten it certified by the FAA as an actual training simulator.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really cool. It's really fun, and it's really neat to actually push all the buttons and switches and pretend to fly an airplane.
I've never actually played X-Plane itself. I've just not had the money, but oh man, it is so good.
You can play the demo.
Yeah, no, I can't. I don't have the graphics to do it.
Oh, well, the demo is pretty cool. You should definitely check it out, man.
As soon as I upgrade my computer.
Okay. Well, then you can check it out. Anyone else who loves aircraft, aviation, or anything like that, or even if you're just bored and you're wanting to play a video game, go check out X-Plane.
No, X-Plane is so accurate that Randall Munro of XKCD used it to simulate flying a plane on other bodies and planets, on other celestial bodies.
Really?
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
I'll find...
That is indeed a random and cool
one
thing.
One of his what-ifs, the whatif.xkcd.com, it was something along the lines of that.
I'm curious how that worked on Jupiter.
Actually...
I recall
basically what he said is he set it up as a... what he did is he set it up as you were using an electric plane to not worry about oxygen for your propeller. It was basically a Cessna that was converted to electrical. Was basically how he did it, and the general conclusion was Earth is where you want to be.
Oh no, but the gravity on Jupiter is so many times heavier. Actually, it said that if you went to Jupiter, you'd be crushed to death by your own weight.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
Actually, speaking of XKCD and the what ifs, I remember he did a TED Talks where he did he had a what if which was how many punch cards would it take to make up all of Google's servers, and he actually did a ton of research to find out how big their servers were, and after putting it out, he got a packet of punch cards from Google, like computer punch cards, that didn't have any label, but he eventually decoded them over months, and what they said was no comment.
Okay. I found the one. It's what if 30. Jupiter. Our Cessna can't fly on Jupiter. The gravity is just too strong. The power needed to maintain level flight is 3 times greater than that on Earth. Starting from a friendly sea level pressure, we'd accelerate through the tumbling winds into a 600 mile per hour downward glide, deeper and deeper through layers of ammonia ice and water ice until we and the aircraft were crushed. There's no surface to hit. Jupiter transitions smoothly from gas to solid as you sink deeper and deeper. That's lovely.
It sounds like a lovely place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's all we're going to visit.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. 2016. Yeah, but
Everfree
social
2016
media.
now on.
Yeah, now on Jupiter. Forget Mars. Forget the moon. Let's go Jupiter.
Let's go to Europa.
You know what? Europa doesn't sound too bad.
Okay.
Pluto, I think it's a planet again.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Very. Yeah, but social media. I think I do periodically check my Twitter. I run a bit of the Everfree Northwest Twitter when it's not being done by Tim or one of our other awesome people. But so I don't get on Twitter as much as I like. But my Twitter, I believe, is @LightSolver. I want to say that.
I want to say that
because I honestly don't get on it enough.
Yeah.
I can tell you Everfree Northwest with no problem.
I concur. I don't get on my Twitter ever. Yeah. I don't think. I think I've tweeted maybe twice.
Twitter.com/LightSolver is you.
Oh, sweet. Yay, it's me.
Good. Follow the Lightsolve. He's a good guy. He has interesting ideas.
Last tweet of yours was on January 6th.
That's this January or last January?
I checked it recently, and that's when I found out about X-Plane, I believe.
Yeah, the last one I threw out was a tweet about the third Hobbit movie, where I basically said it really should have been 2 movies. Get?
Oh, yeah.
It should have only been one.
I like the extra stuff they added, but so I don't.
Here's my problem: is that they made it 3 movies. They didn't even put all the songs in. They took songs out.
Okay.
You got 3 movies. Put in all the songs.
As my dad says, we're not supposed to talk religion or politics at the table, and this is getting really, really close.
This is religion and politics.
Okay, yeah.
This
is politically religious. That's Tolkien.
All hail Tolkien.
Honestly, yes, we're getting pretty off topic at this point. I think we should end things and relegate this to some after-show chat.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us for the first time for the 2015 year. As always, so basically, so you can catch us live at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific p.m. on Thursdays on our live stream at livestream.com/EFNW Presents. And you can also find us on Philadelphia Radio at Philly, as in the young pony thing. PhiladelphiaRadio.net. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Or from the main page of Ponyville Live in the rotator for Philadelphia Radio.